So I kind of cheated and copy pasted some code into the webpack.config.js, but I'll go through it individually. So at the start, we've got a few requires, one being the HTML Webpack plugin, which I'll go through shortly. And then we've got a path. We've required the path as well, just to resolve some paths. And then after that, we've got the module.exports. And inside, we've got several properties, all of which you can find on the Webpack website. So starting with the entry, this is our entry file that we tell Webpack to start bundling the scripts from. So it starts from this file here, which we've set as a source index.js. So let's go ahead and create the source folder. And in here, we're going to have an index.js as our starting file. And in here, we're going to import React. And we're also going to import React DOM. And lastly, we're going to import an app component, which we haven't created yet. But let's go ahead and import that. And we'll create it in the same directory as the index.js. Lastly, we'll use React DOM to render, .render, and we'll render app. And we're going to query selector an HTML element with an ID of root, and save. And let's create the app component as well in the same directory. So import React from React, which we don't have to do now. And const, so we'll create an app component. And let's just put a div in here. And let's put app component inside. And lastly, export the app as the default export. All right, cool. So moving back to our config file, following the entry, we've got output. So after Webpack bundles all the files, it puts the final bundled script into this output. So we've set a file name as bundle.js, and in the path we set the location of where we put that file. So in this case, it's in a folder called dist. Moving on to the plugin. So HTML Webpack plugin generates an HTML file when Webpack runs. In this case, we're using a template. So what this does is it takes an HTML file as a template, and then it injects all the bundled scripts and bundled assets into the HTML file. So in here, we've got a template in the source folder. So let's go ahead and create an index.html. Let's use boilerplate. That's fine. And in the body, we'll add a div with an ID of root, which is what we've selected in our index.html, our index.js file. Moving on to the modules. So in here, we set our rules for the modules. So the first one being the test here. So we're saying for all the files that match, in this case, the regex is an extension of JSX. We want to, oh, sorry, we need to change this to JSX, my bad. There we go, yeah. So we've got an exclude here, so don't include the node modules, but look for the files with an extension of .jsx, and then use this Babel loader to pre-process that file.